All right, guys. Again, welcome to Investor Edge. Today, I have a very good friend of mine, Mr. Amon Smith, from Deputy Director of Hanover County Economic Development. Mr. Amon, man, I appreciate you coming over.
Man, I appreciate you having me, man. This is wonderful. And like you said, we met, it's probally been about a year and a half ago, man, and really hit it off. So I appreciate you having me.
I invited you to a CCM event.
Yep.
And you came to speak.
Yep.
Also, I met you at your office too.
Yep.
And, it was very interesting because I got to understand how Hanover, Virginia works, and especially the economic development section. Okay. So tell us exactly what the economic development does.
Absolutely. So and really my role, so economic development, the main role of economic development is to attract companies to the county.
Okay.
And then also help companies expand and help really almost like a business concierge for companies. So help them expand, help them understand, what resources are available for them, answer questions for them, and then help to attract new investment to the county. And so what I do as deputy director is I'm the number 2 in the office. So I do some administrative things. I'm the number 2. So when the director can't do something, I'm able to step in and do it. But I'm also in charge of business attraction. So I'm the person and kind of the point person for attracting that new investment and those new companies into the county. We also have a existing business manager and project manager who does our retention expansion. So the companies that are already in the county, helping them grow, helping them move forward. We have a marketing manager. We have an office manager who we always joke, make sure we get paid and make sure the office is taken care of, which is important.
Very important.
And then our director is really the strategic kind of operator of our department and sets the vision for us.
All right, so let's just play back.
Yep.
A business wants to come to Hanover.
Yes.
What exactly do you do?
Absolutely. It's a really great question too, because it really depends on what that business is, what they kind of want. So a company comes in, I really sit there and listen to them. And listen to their needs, what they need, what size building, do they need a lease, what kind of workforce do they need, do they want to be by rail, do they want to be by interstate, highway, whatever that looks like. And then we've kind of figured that out, and then ideally kind of matching them with a property that kind of is suitable. We also get leads in a couple of different ways. We work with the Greater Richmond Partnership, which is our regional economic development organization and entity. We also work with the Virginia Economic Development Partnership, which is the state economic development organization. And then we get leads ourselves from people who come in and call in. We also are proactive from a Hanover County standpoint in marketing the county for different targeted sectors that we want. So manufacturing, food and beverage, corporate services. And so we go out to trade shows, conferences, and talk to individual companies to actually attract those companies and bring those companies in.
So you basically, like any other business or county, you're competing with other counties.
Exactly.
Exactly. So who's your major county? Who's your major competition?
Absolutely. Honestly, I would say our kind of competition is obviously the surrounding counties kind of around us. Always. So we do compete, and it's a friendly competition with, the city of Richmond, Henrico County, Chesterfield County. But really for us, our competition is actually different states, I would say, in the Southeast. So, you think of your North Carolinas, your Tennessees, your Texas, Florida, South Carolina. Those are the states we really compete with. But I will say this region does a really, really good job in Virginia of understanding that if a company locates in Henrico or locates in Chesterfield, that benefits Hanover County.
It's a good thing.
Exactly. And we have a wonderful gentleman's, and gentlewoman's agreement about we do not poach companies from another locality. So I'm not going to Chesterfield or Henrico and saying, hey, and talking to their companies and trying to bring them to Hanover. That's obviously not right and something you don't want to do, but also it's a zero-sum game because to your point, we're trying to grow the region, and if you grow the region and bring more people in, that benefits all of us. And so if you're just doing a zero-sum game of taking companies from each other, you're not growing the region. And so we really, really focus on that, and I think we do a good job of really understanding that any type of project or any type of economic development in any one of the surrounding counties in the region really helps. Like, for example, you take large industrial and large manufacturing investments that have happened across the region, that benefits Hanover County because from a retail standpoint, from a supply chain standpoint, that stuff all benefits.
So when you guys try to attract these businesses, do you give them tax incentives?
Yes, we can. So it depends on the company. And I will say we in Hanover County do not have any buy right incentives. So we don't have any incentives where, hey, if you locate in this spot, this is what you're eligible for. But we do, and we work with the state from time to time on these incentives. We set it up as a performance agreement. So a company has to have a minimum investment amount, a minimum jobs amount, and an average salary before we give them. And then we set it up as a performance agreement. Also, usually in Virginia does this, and Hanover County does this as well. There's usually not any upfront money. So we're not going to give, hey, we'll give you $2 million if you come in. Nothing like that. It's based on you have to perform before you get the money back. And that's usually also we do it in the form of like infrastructure. Let's say something happened to the company or the site. You still paid for like a new water line. So the company might not work, but another company might work, and you have that infrastructure kind of in place. So we try to target our incentives to infrastructure, workforce, and some of those other things.
So there was a big thing that happened a couple of months ago where I guess ICE, the federal government, was trying to put a big holding facility for aliens or whatever they call it. So how that came about and how it was handled?
You know, it really just came about. It was the federal government. So Department of Homeland Security is looking for buildings across the United States of America within the 500,000 to 1 million kind of square feet range.
That's a big one.
We in Hanover County had no idea. We did not reach out to them. We did not promote this. Obviously to that use or any other uses, we didn't even know this was coming. And so this kind of came down all of a sudden, and it was a shocker to us because we had no idea. And so, but it really came from doing a search of these types of buildings, and obviously this one came up. So we had no idea, and then moving forward, you know, kind of had to deal with it. We still didn't have any information though. So we never really got any information on this building, what's the build out gonna be, how much power are you gonna need, what's your upfit, none of that stuff. And so that really was just really a shocker, honestly, that we kind of had to deal with and was really dropped on our lap. And we kind of had to deal with it as a county.
What was the citizens' reaction to it?
I will say, obviously, most of the reaction was absolutely not. This is terrible for the county. This is in the wrong spot.
I figured.
And, you know, really when you look at it, and I thought the Board of Supervisors did a really good job on this, of really looking at, hey, this is the wrong spot for the county, and really focusing on the location. Because if you look at the location, it's an M2 property. It is in our central business district in Winding Brook. It's right off of 95. So it's perfect for a manufacturer. It's perfect for a revenue generating economic development project. This obviously wouldn't have been revenue generating. And there's also other commercial and industrial projects around there that you put this type of facility there, it just ruins everything in that area. So I thought the county and the board did a really good job of highlighting, hey, this is the wrong location and really focusing on that.
So what kind of businesses are they focusing on bringing to Hanover now?
Absolutely. Our bread and butter historically has been really distribution and logistics.
Why is that?
Really because of the transportation network. You have Route 1, 95, 295, 360, 33, 301, all running right through the county. So obviously it makes sense from a distribution logistics standpoint. We didn't really, even when you go back, a lot of these kind of warehouses you see they're about 10 to 15 years old. We didn't even really attract them. They were it's just so beneficial to have a logistics facility that way. But we are not going after and attracting logistics and distribution. One of the issues with logistics distribution is, and we hear this from the residents, is the truck traffic, obviously, and a lot of the traffic. The other thing is the wages do not necessarily pay to be able to afford to live in Hanover County. And so really what we're trying to attract and go after are your manufacturing. So that's food and beverage, that's supply chain type manufacturing, advanced manufacturing, IT. So data centers has been a part of that. We've gone and attracted that. So manufacturing, IT as well, the data center, some of that data center supply chain as well. And then also, I mean, corporate services as well. So headquarters, regional office space. We haven't played in really that arena, and we don't have tons of office in Hanover. We have a lot of kind of office like this for your, you know, accountant and doctor's offices, things along those lines. But we have some opportunities in that as well. So corporate services, manufacturing, those are the big kind of areas we're targeting. And when I say manufacturing, whether that's advanced manufacturing, food and beverage, pharmaceutical manufacturing, supply chain type manufacturing to support some of these other large industries, that's really what we're targeting and going after and trying to attract.
So When it comes to Hanover, are you guys getting any proposals for data centers? And how are you dealing with it? Because there's a lot of issue around it, which is about toxicity.
Absolutely.
So how are you dealing with that?
You know, it's really interesting too, because I think similar to the distribution and logistics, data centers as well, we haven't really marketed to data centers that much. There was a couple years ago, we're trying to see what a data center would look like in Hanover County, which is what a lot of counties have kind of done of like, hey, where could you maybe put these facilities? What would this look like? Because it was a hot button issue, obviously, and it's a good way to generate tax revenue. But we haven't really had to really recruit data centers, kind of similar to logistics and distribution, just because of where we're situated in the market.
Yeah.
Obviously, Data Center Alley, and everybody knows, is Loudoun County, Virginia, and Northern Virginia.
True.
You just keep coming up. The subsea cables are starting in Virginia Beach. They're coming right up 64, right up 295, right up 95, and going into Loudoun. You start in Loudoun, you just kind of trickle down. Hanover's right there. So this region is literally right in the middle of where all these cables are coming. So it's an attractive region for data centers. Obviously, there's a lot of benefits. There's also a lot of the negatives that people do bring up. These are large industrial projects. And so you have to be mindful of where you put these. You want to be careful not to put them around, residential, other uses that can be harmful. But they are large, potentially, water users, electricity users. So it is important to communicate about where you're putting them. Make sure you have buffers. Again, I want to brag on Hanover County as well. I think we've done a good job as a county of really making sure we're putting these facilities in areas that were already kind of permitted. And not necessarily by right, but in our zoning ordinance and in our comprehensive plan. So we're putting these facilities in industrial areas in our comprehensive plan that are designated for them. We're making sure that they're buffered. We're making sure that we understand what's going to happen, what are the uses, and proffering things out and making sure that the residents understand. So I think we've done a good job of not just putting these and having these proliferate all over the place, but really master planning, making sure everybody's involved of where we put these.
Nice. So you're here talking to Hanover County citizens. What do you see coming in the next couple of years in regards to industrial-wise and bringing in business into Hanover County?
I think it's going to be, and you said it exactly, it's going to be a lot of industrial stuff. I think you're going to see some data center activity. The only rezoning we've actually had is 1,200 acres up in the Doswell area, a little bit south of kind of King's Dominion. But in that Old Ridge Road, Hickory Hill, that's the only approved data center that we have. Now, it is 1,200 acres. It's master planned. Of that 1,200 acres, and we tell people 400 acres is not developable. When you think take in wetlands and some of the other things, and RPAs, so 800 of the acres of that is going to be developable, but it's going to be master planned. There's buffers all around it. So kind of the new way of doing smart, sustainable data center development. I feel like we're kind of at the forefront.
So you kind of exclude them in one area so it doesn't affect.
That's exactly right.
Wow,
and then there's plenty of proffers. There's other things that limit, noise and other things that they can do. And so we worked with the company and the developer kind of on that through the public process, but the public was able to weigh in on that and was able to really shape that project. I think it's going to be a really, really good project for us, but it's going to be done sustainably.
Good.
So it's not backing up to, a residential community or subdivision or anything like that. The big thing I think you're going to see moving forward is you talked about industrial and kind of breaking that down a little bit. The industrial kind of supply chain related to not just data centers, but pharmaceutical manufacturing. There was a huge announcement in Goochland County, Eli Lilly, where they're doing their pharmaceutical manufacturing. So that, I think that's going to help and benefit. I talked about benefiting us as a region. That's going to benefit the region because of all the supply chain and trickle down that's going to come from that. So you're going to have your supply chain in pharmaceutical, supply chain in data center. That's going to fill a lot of these kind of buildings. I think you're going to continue to see commercial development. We've got a lot of commercial development, especially where Henrico County. So our county line is right past where Henrico did their Virginia Center Commons. So the Henrico Sports and Event Center. So that's spinning off tons of commercial development on our side. So I think you're going to continue to see that. I think at Winding Brook, you're going to see some build out of commercial development. So that's going to be the form of kind of restaurants, retail, shopping, grocery stores, that continued growth in the county. I think the county is going to continue to grow just because of how our comprehensive plan is and our zoning ordinance pretty sustainably. So I don't think you're going to see a rush of people just kind of come in. It's going to be, we're averaging about 1,000 people a year kind of coming to the county. I think that's allowing us to kind of manage the growth.
Okay.
So I think you're going to continue to see that. But the commercial and industrial side, especially on the supply chain, is going to dominate for the next years. Absolutely.
So how is that affecting the residential side? Everything interrelates, right? What is the advantage on the residential side?
I think on the residential side, and we're seeing that, we are seeing sporadically, kind of homes that are being approved. Opportunity. So there is demand there. And I think a lot of these companies that are coming in the retail is, kind of supplying, kind of leading to that demand. But there is great demand on the residential side. Again, I think the county wants to grow in a sustainable way. So again, not allowing just kind of full-fledged everything kind of development, being smart about where we approve these things, making sure also we have the infrastructure in place before we put that. But I would say that the demand is definitely there for the residential, and it's helping from a property value standpoint and those types of things. So,
man, guys, I don't know what to say. Again, Mr. Amon, always great to hear from you, talk to you. Guys, you've learned from the best. And if they have to reach you, where can they reach you on? Your phone number, email, what you got for them?
If you want to reach me, my email is adsmith, so AD and then Smith at hanovervirginia.com. You can also call me at 804-365-6458. And please reach out. I'm happy to hear, happy to go over this. I enjoy doing this. I hope you guys see that.
Yes, you really do. I see the passion.
I enjoy doing this. It's passionate, as Oni said, just from a real estate. And so I'm happy to talk about anything and everything going on in Hanover County from an economic development standpoint.
Man, guys, thank you very much, Mr. Amon. Again, Investor Edge, thank you very much. See you guys next episode. Thank you.
Thank you.